You wake up, the alarm clock rings, but you were already with your phone in hand. Notifications, meetings, unread messages, a hasty coffee, chaotic traffic, the mind in 1,000 places. What about the body? Goes along, automatic, we run, always, and repeats, I don't have time for myself. And if I told you that even the Pope, the leader of more than 1 billion people in the world, with commitments, trips, decisions that affect nations, do not give up your spiritual routine? Yes. He wakes up early, before the commitments, before the cameras, before the world. He sits in silence, and he breathes, because even he understands, if the soul is not centered, the world swallows you. Have you ever felt like this? As if the day had beaten you before it even started, as if everything was at maximum volume, and you in mute? Maybe you feel the same. The truth is that spiritual routine is not about religion. It's about anchor. It's about finding silence within the noise. It's about choosing, even in chaotic days, an internal place of presence. And if the Pope needs it to stand up, why do we think we can live in improvisation? Maybe. What is missing is not time. Be a priority. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We live in the age of more. More tasks, more deliveries, more results, and the time less and less. Productivity has become synonymous with speed. Do more in less time. Answer more emails. Attend more meetings. Hit more goals. But at what cost? Have you ever ended a productive day feeling empty, as if I had done very thing, except what really matters? Perhaps the problem is not productivity itself, but how we define it. Real productivity is not just action, it is presence. It is to have mental clarity, emotional stability, and an inner center that does not shake with each notification. And that is not found in the rush. It is built in silence. On break. The ancient wisdom has always known this, but modernity has forgotten, because before it's about performance, productivity needs to be about purpose, and purpose appears only when the mind is quiet, when you stop, listen, reconnect. This is where the spiritual routine comes in, not as a religious ritual, but as a sacred space within your day. And you know who understood this better than anyone? The Pope. Imagine waking up at 4:30 in the morning, every day, not because someone told you to, but because your soul asks. The Pope begins the day when most of us are still dreaming. Between 4:30 and 5, he is already up. Why? Because he understands that the first moment of the day must be silent. It must be sacred. Before the world starts to scream, it chooses to listen to yourself and to God. Discipline begins in the biological clock. He does not wake up to run. He wakes up to stop, to breathe in, to start the day with focus, intention, and a clear mind. Soon after, he enters into personal prayer. No palaces, no spotlights, just him, silence, and an intimate conversation with the divine. At this moment, there are no distractions. There is no politics, press, or protocol. There is only presence. And maybe that's what is missing in our routine. A time without noise, no likes, no automatic replies, a detox of digital anxiety. But the routine does not stop there. Daily, he celebrates Mass, even on trips, in diplomatic engagements, in busy days. He does not negotiate this moment. Why? Because he knows constancy in something significant is the root of real productivity. It is what aligns the external with the internal. It's what keeps your feet on the ground when the world seems to spin faster than it should. Then comes meditation, spiritual reading. He studies, reflects, not as an obligation, but as a practice of humility, of listening, because who leads must learn every day. And maybe we need it too. Less hurry, more presence, less noise, more direction. Finally, the Pope seeks confession and spiritual direction. It opens, it recognizes flaws. Yes, even the Pope needs to ask for help, because discipline is also vulnerability. It is to know that growth begins in the courage to look inward. Sometimes we look at the Pope and wonder, he must have everything under control. It has team, structure, silence, should be easy to maintain discipline. But the truth? Nor is he immune, nor does he live in peace all the time, nor does he escape the pressure. The Vatican may seem a sacred place, but there are difficult decisions in there. There are internal conflicts, there is politics, there is expectation, there is weight. The Pope is charged, questioned, criticized. He carries the weight of representing the faith of millions, to deal with world leaders, to make decisions that can change lives. And still, he does not give up his spiritual routine. Why? Because he knows this time with God, with silence, with himself, is not a luxury. It is a foundation. It is precisely because it is in the center of so much turbulence that he protects this moment with almost non-negotiable discipline. And if even someone with so much responsibility, so much collection, so much pressure, makes it a priority, why would we, with our days, but equally human, not do the same? His discipline does not come from perfection, comes from the awareness of one's own fragility. And maybe this is more inspiring than any holiness. There are days when everything seems too much, in which the head does not stop, the heart weighs and time runs out. And if the answer is not to do more, and in doing more clearly, the first lesson that the Pope's spiritual routine gives us is simple but powerful. Mental clarity comes from silence. When you start the day on autopilot, already lost control. But when you stop, before answering, before running, before deciding, you create an internal space, and this space changes everything. Silence is not absence, it is presence. It is there that real productivity is born, not in the noise, but in listening. The spiritual routine helps to filter what matters. When you have a moment to breathe, reflect, reconnect, you do not get carried away by any urgency. You stop confusing the urgent with the important. Anxiety decreases. The decisions are more aligned. Your communication improves. Your energy is concentrated. You do not react to the world. You respond from a more centered place. Constancy builds trust. When you fulfill that commitment to yourself, every day, even small, you start to trust yourself. And it spreads. The same discipline that makes you sit in silence today is the one that makes you finish that project tomorrow. Answer with patience. Lead with empathy. We must fight against distractions. The Pope's spiritual routine is also surrounded by challenges, noise, politics, commitments, tiredness, but it protects that time. He says no to the world for a moment, to be able to say yes with more truth later. And you can too. Maybe all you need to be more productive is not a new app, a new technique, or more hours of work. Maybe you only need 10 minutes of silence with yourself. Maybe you're thinking, okay, I get it, but my life is different. I'm not the Pope. And it is true. You have your routine, your challenges, your pains, but what this journey shows is that spirituality in practice. It doesn't have to be great, it has to be real. And it starts with simple steps. Start small. You don't have to wake up at 4:30, nor spend an hour in prayer. But what if, would you take 5 minutes off your day, 5 minutes of silence, of conscious breathing, of attendance? Do not underestimate the power of little, done with constancy. Set a fixed time. Our brain likes routine, and the soul too. Choose a time of day before going to sleep, right to wake up during the lunch. No matter when, it is important to keep. Consistency is worth more than duration. Use a practice that works for you. It doesn't have to be mass. It can be meditation, journaling, inspiring reading, or simply sit and listen to the sound of your own breathing. Spirituality has no formula. There is truth. Create an environment without distractions. Turn off your phone. Tell the family. Choose a corner of the house. The idea is to turn this space into an intentional refuge where the world does not enter and you find yourself. Monitor your evolution. Yes, spirituality is also practical, and practice can be accompanied. Use a notebook, an application, or just mark an X on the calendar. Every day counts, and when you look back and see that it's keeping, it becomes fuel to continue. Small habits, great transformation. And it doesn't matter where you are today. It matters where you want to be in 30 days, or better yet, where you want to be with yourself. The Pope's spiritual routine is not a privilege. It is a necessity. It is not about religion, it's about center, about remembering every day who you are before the world tells you what you need to be. His discipline does not come from perfection, but of the awareness that without anchor, even a pope can get lost. What about you? Do you feel it too? This silent restlessness, this feeling that something important is missing even with all commitments fulfilled. Maybe what is missing is not time, be a date, a meeting with what moves you, with what calms you, with what strengthens you. What about the good news? You don't need a throne in the Vatican for that. You don't need a title nor a position. You just need to decide that it matters, because productivity without purpose is just noise, and discipline without spirituality is just another item on the list. But when you unite the two, the routine becomes ritual, and the daily turns way. Then he says to me, "What's the first habit you can start tomorrow?" Share it here in the comments. 5 minutes of silence, of prayer, of conscious breathing. Start small, but it begins. Because transformation does not happen in the extraordinary. It begins in the simple. If this video made you think, send it to someone who needs to implement some of these habits as well. And don't forget to sign up for the channel. Every day has new video to remind you of what you are capable of. Let's build together a more productive and functional life. And remember, spiritual discipline does not change the world around you, but it changes the way you walk through it. Until the next video.